Okay guys, it is night 7 on 7 Nights of Worms. So on the last night we're going to peek into the vermibag mammoth and I'm going to tell you what I'm doing with it. So this thing has been completely neglected for a few weeks now. Honestly, I should be kicked for not taking care of this thing better than I have. As you can see, it's dried out. Everything is worked over. This bag is probably about 90% castings now. Let's just dig through here and see if I can find anything. I mean, there's not a lot of anything to include worms. And I haven't been having enough scraps to maintain it. So I filled it up with bedding after I'd filled it up with leaves. I mean, they've worked through it all, and I'm sure there are worms in here. But we can agree that this thing does not have a very high worm population at all. I mean, I've dug down a pretty good ways in here. Nothing. Absolute, just crumbly stuff. I mean, I'm elbow deep in this vermibag right now, and I'm pulling up nothing but worked over material. Hardly any worms at all to speak of. Maybe one or two. Just, it's crazy. So what am I gonna do with this? Well, I honestly don't produce enough scraps in my own house to feed this bag, along with every other thing I have going on. So I have the option of finding more scraps from other people, which I've done, and is not bad. But I'm gonna be honest with you, sometime in the Louisiana summer, letting that stuff sit in the back of your truck, oh my God, if you forget about it, it stinks to high heaven. So that's not really a viable option because I'm fairly forgetful. What I think I'm gonna do, there's a little worm right there. I'm gonna do a big harvest on this bag, and I may actually break this thing down until I have a more permanent housing situation set up. As some of you guys know, I'm in the military and we move a lot. So it's hard to really get anything going good. So I'm finding some worms, little reds, but they're there. But I think it would be a fun thing to see if we could get this bag to bounce back. As you can see, I mean, there ain't a lot going on here. It's pretty desolate. Let me do another big scoop out down through here. Nothing. That's all the way to the bottom of the bag almost. Nothing but castings. So this was the vermibag that I filled up full of leaves. And as you can see, there is nothing in here anymore that is identifiable as a leaf. Leaf, whatever. That's a pretty cool thing. So we know that this mix of worms I had will get through leaves. I actually know what I'm gonna do, guys. You're gonna like this. Let me take a little break, and when I come back, I'm gonna tell you guys what my plan is so you can see it in action. All right. Okay, guys, so I can't decide what to do with that vermibag. I'm kind of torn between harvesting it pretty heavy, wetting it down, and then just feeding whatever worms are left in there and covering it up with castings and just letting them sort through it until I get it all harvested out, and then using the worms to fish with, which is a good option. Or I could do a harvest on it and start running it again and just treat it like I normally would. Or option 3, do a heavy harvest on it and just start dumping excess cocoons and anything else in there that kind of goes that I need to just store somewhere to let hatch out. All three of those are viable options, but honestly, I'm tired of stressing about what I'm gonna feed these worms. I've got a vermibag mini that's full of African night crawlers. I've got another vermibag mini that I'm gonna start up with cocoons only. So really there's no reason for me to have that vermibag mammoth right now until I have my mules at the house and I have unlimited access to poop and, you know, stuff from the garden to work out. So I think what I'm gonna do is harvest that vermibag mammoth pretty heavy and then break it down and save it until I retire, which isn't very far away, and then set it up and really get focused on that. Until then, I'm having a great time raising worms for cocoons and fishing worms. My 2 vermibags will be able to handle all the food scraps that we produce. So yeah, don't expect any more updates on the mammoth for a while, maybe like 2 years. Expect updates on the minis and the bin systems I have, and some tips and tricks on how to start from cocoons and raise bait worms. All right guys, happy Monday, night 7 of 7 nights of worms. You guys have a good one.